Hello, good morning. Charles Van Morgan Show. So, we are broadcasting live. We're going to talk about conformity, talk about social pressure. So, this is the second attempt to broadcast live this morning. I believe that we were probably most likely censored by YouTube because we had almost no people watching, so maybe we're being censored. I wouldn't doubt it. But we're talking about this morning, talking about conformity and why sometimes you shouldn't conform to social pressure. Charles Van Morgan live in the morning. Come on in, come on in. And we're going to talk about what happened in 1968 when a military company, the Charlie Company, mass murdered about 300 civilians. They conformed when they should not have. So we're going to talk about that this morning, and reasons why you shouldn't conform, and how to keep from conforming to social pressure when it's obviously morally wrong. And talk about several events where people conform to authority when they should not have, because it caused death, sorrow, and destruction. And there's social pressure to conform. Some apparently horrific incidences that all of us could fall prey to. So let's turn this thing around here and talk about the My Lai incident in 1968, where the Charlie Company had suffered casualties from the Viet Cong in other areas close by My Lai, and some of the Charlie Company had been killed, some of them maimed. So they were pretty angry, and they were given orders to take over the town and village of My Lai. Told that there were Viet Cong there ready to fight. One of the most apt people in the Viet Cong that were able to fight. So, and they were supposedly outnumbered, according to intelligence that was later determined to be false. So they went into My Lai expecting to confront heavy enemy fire by well-trained Viet Cong and to be outnumbered. They had suffered heavy casualties, and some of their Charlie Company being maimed in previous fights nearby. So they landed and were instructed to take over My Lai. And when they got there, they encountered a village of civilians, and no fire, no weapons, just civilians. The Viet Cong wasn't there. But they took over the village and they murdered about 300 civilians and raped children. The Charlie Company, the United States military, Charlie Company did that. And because they were following orders and of a commander on the scene, only one that got charged later after a cover-up and got a life sentence and was later commuted. So basically, no one severely paid for the massacre of 300 murders of men, women, and children, civilians, and the rape of women by the United States military and the Charlie Company. And why did all these military people go along with the program? Why did they conform when obviously they shouldn't? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a McDonald's incident in 2004, where a manager conformed to authority and a young lady was sexually abused because somebody conformed and shouldn't have. We're going to talk about ways to stand up against conformity. Sometimes you shouldn't conform to authority. So we're going to talk about that. Let's see if we got any people on here now. Yeah, we got a few. So like, share, comment. The topic of today's discussion is conformity. Just go along with the program. It's all right. Hell no, we won't go. How about we think for ourselves, stand on our own 2 feet, and reject the social pressure, and don't let it affect us to the point where we fail to act when we should or do nothing about the injustices that are going on all around us. So I'm Charles Van Morgan. I have a Master of Arts in Sociology with an emphasis in criminology, so I know a few things. Actually, I know a lot of things. I have a Doctor of Jurisprudence, so I have some information I'd like to impart to you today about conformity, some stuff that'll help you. Social pressure around us, other people, cause us to do things and act in certain ways, which is perfectly fine sometimes. If you want to wear a tie because everybody in your organization wears a tie, but you don't have to, go ahead and wear one. It's fine. I don't hurt anybody. But if people in your organization want you to do something that's morally wrong to go along with their politics, for example, maybe you shouldn't do it if you don't want to, if it's morally wrong. You don't have to go along. You can know in the front end that you don't have to go along with the program, that you don't have to obey everybody, that everybody else is not right just because there's more of them and just you don't have to go along. And I'm going to talk about some major incidences that caused some serious things to happen because of conformity. Just go along with social pressure around them. Now, I experience a lot of social pressure around me. People, hecklers on this page right here, heckling me, saying, oh, he does this and he does that, trying to make me just shut up and not speak the truth. But I'm going to work against that. So here we go. Hello. I don't smoke now. So we're gonna talk about conformity and not conforming to wrong social pressure. And like in 1968, in My Lai, the Charlie Company mass murdered about 300 civilians, and it was covered up by the military for a long time. Now, there was some heroes in that. Thompson Jr., a helicopter pilot, put his helicopter between United States military soldiers, his own people, and civilians to get them to stop from killing them that were chasing them across a field. Intervening in some of them getting killed. Thompson Jr., a hero in that. Stood up. He didn't conform. He's seen from a bird's eye view military Charlie Company murdering innocent people that were unarmed. So he lands his helicopter, puts it right in the middle of his military people and innocent Vietnamese civilians. He later reported that through his chain of command, that, hey, these people our soldiers murdered people that weren't armed. And the military covered it up. They said it was a victory. They classified the My Lai as a victory because they had a lot of body count, a lot of innocent people, a lot of good that didn't do any good. It hurt the cause of the United States military because people conformed to pure evil. And just like I'm a journalist, breaking stories about people in power corruption, a journalist, Seymour Hurst, reported and broke the story about the My Lai massacre, which is exactly what it is, by the United States members of the United States military. Not all of them, but he broke the story and turned the tide of the approval of the Vietnam War, because these people in the military conformed to a collie, a supervisor, that told them to mass murder and shoot people, innocent civilians. Ordered them to do that. Now he did it, and they did it for several reasons. that are all wrong. They did an investigation into it later, and it was covered up for several months. Listed as a win, as a victory. My Lai, they took over. They took over an innocent village that wasn't inhibited by the Viet Cong and murdered innocent civilians at the command of a supervisor in the United States military. And people went along with that and killed little children because their commander told them to. Conformity. Going along with the program. Maybe you shouldn't sometimes. That's what we're talking about. It can cause a lot of bad to happen. So we're up early in the morning. We might stay on a long time today. Try to get some views and likes and shares and comments. Trying to build up this message to people all over the world about not conforming to people in power abuse of you, not going along with the program. Because sometimes it's easy to do. And I'm not saying that people will murder innocent people, but there are factors that are set up in place that make it easier to do. So all of us are susceptible, not to murdering people like in My Lai, but all of us are susceptible to social influence that is wrong, that we shouldn't go along with, and there's ways we can combat that. And that's what I'm going to talk about to you today. Charles Van Morgan, live YouTube, worldwide, and I want to talk about, we have a major milestone. In the past, a little over a month, we have broadcast live to over 700,000 people. We're coming up on 1 million people that we've been talking to the past month. So our message is getting out. Thank you all so very much. Like, share, comment, and contribute. And we'll keep posting the news. So social pressure. Conformity is a real phenomenon. Sometimes you should go along. Sometimes you shouldn't. Mr. Thompson didn't go along. He protected innocent civilians at his own risk. He could have got shot by his own people because he was trying to protect innocent Vietnamese civilians. Reported it. The chain of command covered it up. It's a victory. It wasn't a victory. It was a sick massacre. And a reporter, Seymour Hurst, broke the story. Charles Van Morgan is breaking stories on the dirty Tennessee people in government power trying to protect lives and property and protect you. And that's what we do. A journalist protecting lives. Stand on the First Amendment can save lives. So in 2004, at McDonald's, there was another incident of conformity to public authority that the person shouldn't have conformed to what they thought was public authority. So we're coming up on McDonald's right now. So let's see here. The big old McDonald's sign. So in 2004, at a McDonald's in Kentucky, a man called and identified himself as a police detective, called the manager at a McDonald's in Kentucky and told the manager that a lady, we'll call her Susan, had stolen from McDonald's. And in order to keep her from being arrested and taken down to the police department, he needed the manager to take her into a private room and he would give her instructions on what to do. And the manager said that the man that called on the phone knew information about the store, knew information, so he sounded official. And she could hear what she thought was police radios in the background. And this is the man calling in on the phone. 2004, at a McDonald's restaurant, talking to a manager. And so, let me tie my shoe here up, it's coming untied. So everybody's welcome. Come on in, come on in. Charles Van Morgan talking about conformity. Got on my Got on my Freddy Krueger shirt this morning. So we tried this earlier, and I don't think YouTube allowed my title, so trying it again. So we're not conforming. And I think even YouTube wants us to conform to stuff they know nothing about. Yeah, you should obey military orders to shoot that child. Yeah, no. No. And being aware of social pressure can help you realize when it's happening, make your own decisions, and safely stand on your own 2 feet. I'm not saying you ought to stand up and defy the enemy to their face. Sometimes it's not smart to do that. Sometimes it's smart to trick them and get the hell out of Dodge. But you shouldn't commit crimes or do things that are morally wrong because of social pressure all around you. You know, in the Bible, they voted to crucify Jesus, who fed the hungry, raised the dead, and help people, and they voted to crucify him instead of a mass murderer. There's McDonald's, where the 2004 incident happened at a McDonald's in Kentucky, and they voted to release a murderer. Was it partly social pressure? Yeah, well, it was all in God's providence, but so the manager received a phone call from a parent police officer on the phone, instructed her to take one of their employees in a back room and give her instructions because he alleged that she was stealing from McDonald's, and in order to keep her from going to jail and being arrested, to take her in the back room, and he was going to give her instructions. So, and she thought it was real. He had a authoritative voice, and she could hear what she thought was police radios in the background. And he knew stuff. He had information. So she thought he was a police officer. So she took the lady in the back room, who was an 18-year-old, we'll call her Susan, took her in the back room, and the police detective instructed her, the manager, the store manager, to have the 18-year-old disrobe, and she complied out of fear of being arrested. And then the manager had to get back to work, so the caller that was apparently a police officer told her to get somebody else to watch her, so she called her boyfriend that came down, and then her boyfriend guarded the woman. It was about a 3-hour period in 2004, and he was instructed by the caller, and did, in fact, the manager's boyfriend, sexually assault the girl. And then another employee was instructed, the man that sexually assaulted her, the police officer was told to have somebody else watch her, and another employee was instructed to watch her, and came in and saying, hey, this isn't right. You know, what the hell's going on here? So he alerted authorities, and it was ended. But she went through a 3-hour horrific incident, the lady we'll call Susan, because a manager obeyed authority on a phone call. Wow. Social pressure from an authority figure. So they found the person that they alleged did it. It was determined that he had done this to 70 different restaurants across 30 different states. Had been successful. The manager did what the police on the phone told him to do, but it was a hoax. He wasn't a police officer. It was a hoax. And the person on the phone in 70 different McDonald's stores followed what the authority figure told her to do. And he got charged, but there wasn't enough evidence to convict him. 70 restaurant managers obeyed across 30 different states what an authority figure on the phone told him to do. Conformed, yes, and did what they asked him to do. You know, there are ways that we can avoid that. Now, in the Malaya incident, the investigation determined that those soldiers conformed because of revenge. They were mad because some of their fellow soldiers had been killed in nearby incidences. And look at this, they got water hoses. Well, they did have it the other day on the road. Wow. On the public sidewalk, they've got water hoses at this Kearns Bakery where water sprays all over you if you walk down the sidewalk. I mean, that's amazing. So if my shirt's wet, it's because people put stuff on the sidewalk. But look at this right here, spraying all over the sidewalk. Wow. You know, I mean, really? Do I have to go out in the road so I don't get wet? Why don't you look at this, all over them. I ought to bust it. I ought to bust it. Look at this, spraying all over a public sidewalk. I ought to bust the damn thing. Wow. I mean, you know, if I slip and fall, you know, these people made a dangerous situation where you get wet, and it's even cold weather. Kearns Bakery here have no concern for civilians walking down the sidewalk want to get us wet. I bet they think it's fun. But, the Malayan people, the people in Malaya were murdered. The soldiers conformed probably for several reasons. All of them unjustified out of revenge because they had several soldiers killed in that area earlier, and some of them were maimed. So they were already mad as hell at the Vietcong when they went to Malaya, but the Vietcong wasn't there. The other reason was unfit leadership. Calling the man that, and I can't pronounce his name, he's a dirtbag, Doug, but so he's not the important one. The important ones in that are the reporter, Seymour Hurst, and the helicopter pilot, Thompson Jr., and that prevented some deaths, and the other, unfit leadership. They had people, and records determined that the commander of that ordered the murder of all those children was not educated, was unfit for duty. Similar to what you have in a lot of our government agencies, people that aren't fit for duty, that aren't educated, don't know what they're talking about. And they're giving orders that they have no clue as to what they're talking about. And we need to make sure that we have qualified people in public offices. And or at least people with moral ethics. And they were unfit, and they had an emphasis on body count, and they considered that a victory if they had a huge body count. And that was a huge body count, 300, but it's innocent people. So the emphasis on a body count was horrific. So they had the wrong emphasis. Should have been on minding America's own business and protecting innocent lives, even in foreign countries when you're a combatant, when you're a soldier. And so they've had retraining now, and also the demonizing the enemy, which is what they do in a lot of politics now. They demonized the enemy where it was okay to kill even children. And a deterioration of moral ethics in the military. So a lot of those were the reasons that set up the foundation for why that happened. And in the McDonald's incident, these people just went along with authority instead of questioned it. So there are a lot of instances in history. We're going to get out our little leaflet here of things we can cover. So there are a lot of instances throughout history where people conform to authority and conform to social pressure when, quite frankly, they should not. It's very bad. Be aware of social pressure. It can cause you to do very bad things. It can be very horrific. So, Charles Van Morgan in the morning. And we'll continue talking about social pressure. Read some of the comments. Thank you all for joining me. Like, share, comment. And if you want to contribute, keep the channel going. Keep us funded. So we'll talk about some more incidences of social pressure. And we'll mention the No Kings Route protest, the social pressure. I've already received social pressure from the No Kings protest. Thousands of protesters, some of them trying to put social pressure on me. If you don't go along with the program, even peacefully, they'll ostracize and criticize you. Well, so be it. I believe what I believe and I know what I know based on education, and you don't. I don't care who you are or how many of you there are. We don't have kings in America. We have elected presidents. Biden was elected, albeit maybe not legitimately, but he had votes. And President Donald Trump is elected. He's not a king. So I don't know what in the world they're talking about. I mean, you know, where do you go when you say that? We have elected presidents. So we'll read the comments and see what y'all got to say and talk about some more incidents. Another incident I want to talk about where a lady avoided being murdered herself by not conforming. It's a big deal to me. Don't conform to stuff that you shouldn't conform to. Nonconformity is something that we need to be doing against wrong. Even not conforming to thousands of apparent protesters. Don't conform. I don't care what they say. They'll try to manipulate you and say bad stuff. And there's already bad stuff posted on my YouTube channel because I went and reported on the No Kings protest peacefully, and I was even nice, but they don't even like it nice because I voted for Donald Trump. I mean, go figure. It ain't about believing the truth. It's about conforming to dirty lies. So we'll see what we got on here. So we got 72 people on here, and he's part. His daughter lives on the corner. Paul loves it. I don't know what you're talking about. Democrats call him king. I got banned, and I'm going to go get my friends. Charles doesn't want to deal with my friends. Bring your friends on. You know, self-defense is a God-given right. So if you feel giddy, bro, Trump's king, bow down. He's not king. He was elected. Warning, permanent ban will be issued if the live stream does not end in 5 minutes. Notification, permanent ban will be issued if the live stream is not issued in 5 minutes. Okay, well, why? Let it. You know, we'll be on Twitter or we'll be on Rumble. We're saying to vote within 5 minutes. Let's see what time it is. 28:30. Let's see if it's banned in 28:30, 29:30, 30, 30, 31:30, 32:30, 33:30. Let's see if it's born at 30. Let's see if it's banned at 33:30. If it's not, that's a dirty lie, like most of this stuff. Why Charles doesn't block me? It's because Charles knows I'm coming here on my own free time. I'm not doing anything to spread this message outside of this channel. Okay, well, I'm not banning you because I don't care what you got to say. Because you have no effect on me. That's why. Because I'm used to social pressure and I know how to deter it. So let's talk about 1984. Donna Martinez refused to kneel. Let's talk about serial killers in 1984. And a lady, that's an interesting story. A lady was abducted, taken to a wooded area where at least 8 other people had been taken. and robbed at gunpoint, and the perpetrators had raped and murdered at least 8 other people. Alton Coleman and Deborah Brown. And this was 1984. Now this black lady, I'm not sure I got her name right. It's listed several different names. It's on the FBI files. And she was abducted, taken to a wooded area, and these people had already murdered and raped 8 other people. And they told them to get down on their knees, and they were putting them in an execution position to get down on their knees, and they'd shoot them in the back of the head. And that's why they were ordering her to get down on her knees. And other people had gotten down on their knees. They conformed. And I'm not saying they were bad. They had a gun on them. Who could blame them? But this lady knew that they were probably going to do something bad. And she said she wasn't a dog. She wasn't getting down on her knees. She didn't conform at gunpoint. I'm saying, I don't know. You make up your own mind. There's sometimes you don't need to conform even at gunpoint. I mean, you make your own decisions. I'm not saying to die, but she probably suspected they were going to kill her anyway. They were wanting to get on her knees in execution position so they could shoot her in the back of the head. She refused. She didn't conform. So what happened? And you can watch it on FBI files. It's the dead run FBI files. And she wouldn't get down on her knees, said she wasn't a dog. And they were wanting to get down on her knees because they could execute her easily. So when she wouldn't get down on her knees, they couldn't shoot her in the back of the head. So they fired several shots at her, wounding her, but it didn't hit her in the back of the head and kill her like it did the other 8 people. So she survived because she wouldn't conform. She didn't let them shoot her in the back, didn't get on her knees so they could shoot her in the back of the head. Non-conformity can save your life sometimes. They left. They thought they'd killed her, shot her several times, but not in the back of the head. That would have killed her. She crawled to a road and summoned help, bleeding and very severely injured. But she wouldn't conform. Saved her life. So there are times when, hey, I'm not going to comply with your murder of me. I will fight. You might kill me, but I'm not going along with the program. It ain't going to work. So nonconformity sometimes is a good way to handle things. We shouldn't conform. We should make up our own mind, stand our ground, think about things ahead of time, positions we have, and stand, which is to have your own values and your own moral beliefs and think about them ahead of time, and be able to articulate those values, and don't go along with a program sometimes. Get around people who are like-minded with social support if you can, and think about the positions that you have ahead of time and the moral values that you have, like not to murder innocent people is a real easy one, and some of the political values that you have, and listen to other opposing views, but don't go along where they violate your personal core convictions. So stand and don't go along. So here we have, I want to show you all this. We have, congratulations, we have had 700,000 people October the 19th to view this channel. And so we're getting this message out to Power to You the People, Charles Van Morgan, Unbridled News. And we're coming upon 1 million people to broadcast this message. And one of the main messages is, don't conform where it's immoral or not right. I don't care who tells you to do that. Stand on the the Constitution. So we're talking about standing up to people in power in the government. And we're talking about Edward Sutherland in 1940, white-collar crime, a crime committed by people of high social position in the course of occupations. So Middle case suggests white-collar crimes do not involve violence and rarely bring police with guns to the scene. Rather, white-collar criminals use their powerful occupations, such as government positions, offices, to illegally enrich themselves or others, often causing significant public harm in the process. For this reason, sociologists sometimes call white-collar offenses crimes in the suits, as opposed to crime in the streets. So we're talking about white-collar criminals. We're talking about government official crimes. Crimes of the privilege is what I like to call it, that use their position of power and influence for their own personal gain and your demise. And we should not conform to those people that are committing crimes and go along. Conformity, influencing behavior. Other people cause us to conform to stuff that we shouldn't conform to. And there are several reasons why people conform to outside pressure on us when we shouldn't. When we should be aware of that. Hey, that's not with my moral values that I've thought about. I'll listen to you, but if I don't agree with you, I'm not going along with that. No, thank you. And we have to do it intelligently, but we can stand up against these people in power. Informational social influence. The influence of other people that leads us to confirm beliefs. We see them as a source of information to guide our behavior. We conform because we believe that others' interpretation of an ambiguous situation is more correct than ours and will help us choose an appropriate course of action. Private acceptance. Conforming to other people's behavior out of a genuine belief that what they are doing or saying is right. So we need to make up our own minds. We can't take what people in government power tell us is right verbatim. We can't just accept because somebody's in authority without researching things ourselves, without looking into the facts of a situation. When it concerns who we vote for or what we do, we need to look into things. Or even when it concerns thousands and thousands of people all across the United States holding up signs that say no kings. Now, we could go along with the program, and if you don't, they'll put dirty stuff on your YouTube page, which is fine. Social pressure. Woo, I'm going to shut down my page. I apologize for being nice. No, thank you. I believe what I believe. I know what I know, and you're an idiot. You have no basis for what you believe. We have no kings. We have elected officials in the United States. So what the hell are you talking about? You're foolish, and I'm not going along with foolishness. You can wave a sign all day long, and I hope you do, because my vote counts more than you, because you're not voting. You're standing on the sidewalk with a sign. So I wonder how many of those thousands and thousands of people voted. Not every one of them, I bet. They're out there with social pressure to get on the sidewalk. The social pressure that I would put forth to you, which is appropriate social pressure, is to go vote. Vote your conscience. Go vote. Now, it does raise an awareness, but awareness for what? For no kings? How about it raising awareness for voting? But they're not raising awareness for voting. They're raising awareness for hyperbolic. You know, where are you going? I mean, if I have to figure something out, that's too hard for me to listen to your message. Why don't you just be clear? I'll have people lining the sidewalk trying to convince people to get registered and go vote. That is my social pressure, convincing people to vote. Power to you, the people. Vote. So, social pressure is not always appropriate. So let's talk about this study where in 1936 authentic studies, people estimated how far a point of light appeared to be moving in a dark room. When they saw the light by themselves, their estimates varied widely. When they were brought together in groups and heard others people announce their estimates, people confirmed to the group estimates of how much the light moved, adopted from Sheriff 1936. So people were asked to go in a room and look at a light, and a light doesn't move, but in the dark in that situation it appeared like it did, even though it didn't move at all. And people's estimates based on how far they thought it moved, because to them it was a perception distortion. It moved, and some would say 3 inches, some would say 4, but then when they had other people in the room with them that estimated how far it moved, their estimates conformed to what the group said, as opposed to when they were by themselves, it was much different. So, and the light didn't even move at all. So people conformed to what other people were telling them, despite what they originally thought in the first place. So make up your own mind about things. Don't let people distort your view. So let's talk about the journalist that exposed conformity, and even conformity by the United States military that was trying to legitimize the illegitimate. A journalistic investigator, after a tip from Ryder's letter, prompted a small military inquiry. Freelance journalist Seymour Hersh began his investigation in October of 1969. His reporting, which included interviews with participants, broke the story on November 13, 1969. The subsequent publication of graphic photos taken by Army photographer Ronald Herberly brought the full horror of the event to the public. Fallout from exposure. After the story broke, the U.S. Army was forced to open a formal investigation. So it wasn't until a journalist like Charles Van Morgan reported on incidences that it exposed the public of the horrors, and that's what we're trying to expose: horrors of the government officials in the state of Tennessee. You can make up your own mind about them. We're showing you pictures and documented evidence of wrong that goes on by people in public power in the state of Tennessee. And it is close to Halloween. We're wearing our Freddy Krueger shirt. So sometimes reality is worse than nightmares. So we're here on the Gay Street Bridge. You can see the traffic beginning to back up. So the incident was deliberately and successfully covered up by high-ranking U.S. Army officials for about 20 months before being exposed to the public. The cover-up was so effective that even officers in Vietnam with some knowledge of the event were aware of its true scope. Key facts: the cover-up. the false official reports and reasons for the cover-up. So they covered up for 20 months. There's been a cover-up going on with the Tennessee Highway Patrol for months and months, for years. And we're still casting a light on government officials and what they do wrong. And the topic of the show today is when it's wrong, conformity. Don't go along with their propaganda, their social pressure. So let's don't go along with stuff when we shouldn't go along with it. It can cause innocent people to be raped and murdered. It can cause a cover-up by people that weren't even there to cover it up. It was, in fact, the My Lai massacre was because of conformity. 16th of March, 1968, almost 58 years ago, the My Lai massacre. It killed about 300 murdered 300 apparently unarmed civilians, including children, elderly, and no opposing fire by them. So, I mean, they had no reason to do that. Why'd they do it? Conformity. Conformity. Don't go along with the program. Even if it is a government official telling you to go along with the program, if it's not morally right, I'm not saying every time, but there's obvious things that people go along with that they shouldn't. Don't go along. Hell no. There was no justification for killing of hundreds of unarmed Vietnamese civilians. However, factors that contributed, there are factors that contributed, and we'll go over them. The body count was one of the factors. THP emphasizes in power at all costs, destroying objections. Initially declared My Lai a victory. They initially declared My Lai a victory. One of the reasons why: unfit leadership. THP majors, liars, no education. So they got unfit leadership in the Highway Patrol and in state government. The other factors that contributed to My Lai was revenge over the soldiers that were killed previously. Emphasis on the body count. Unfit leadership. Dehumanization of the enemy. Breakdown of moral discipline. And the enemy was dehumanized. So those are some of the reasons for the moral decay that caused the My Lai incident in Vietnam. So let's look at some of the things that we can do about the wickedness in the state government. Is we can go vote, and then some extraditional collective action. Some of our activities: advocating voting, calling friends, attending meetings, running for public office, and using social media, reaching 375,000 on YouTube. And I just showed you that 375,000 has went up to 700,000 on YouTube within the past few days. And we're going to advocate for some people in public office and against other people. This is a lieutenant with the Highway Patrol. That's got my name. Maybe we'll run for public office, a Morgan campaign. This is Lieutenant Ogle with Highway Patrol, a line person that helped a criminal state government. Now she's trying to help her brother Ogle win office. So don't vote for Ogle. Be politically active. Don't vote for her brother Ogle for Sevier County Sheriff. If you live in Sevier County, remember Sheriff Ogle is running for election, her brother. Don't vote for him. And here he is. Couldn't be more proud of my brother. He definitely has my vote. We don't have votes of people that I know. Elect Chad Ogle, Sevier County Sheriff. So let's don't elect Chad Ogle. So we need to be politically active. They would like to kill us. Let's vote against them. Don't go along with conformity. She's retired from the Tennessee Highway Patrol because she lied for the people in the Highway Patrol. So she covered up for the establishment, so they let her retire. Now she's trying to continue to influence the establishment and have her brother elected to continue to legitimize the crooked people in power. So let's be politically active. Don't go along with the program. Don't conform with what a person in the government who served themselves tells you to do. Vote against Mr. Ogle for Sevier County Sheriff. Don't elect Chad Ogle. So like, share, contribute, and keep the fight going, keep journalism going. So if you will contribute, we will continue to break stories that uncovers government corruption. So if you want to continue the fight, then fund the fight to protect lives, to protect independent journalists like me, Charles Van Morgan. I'm more qualified than any journalist you've ever met because of my life lived. And thank you for all my older fans on here. Most of the people that listen to me are a lot older. So y'all know what it's about. So fund the fight. I've lived a life and I've seen government corruption, and also see social pressure. I'm losing viewers because I'm trying to get funded to put out information about the government. Hit the square icon. And I also have a Master of Arts in Sociology with an emphasis in criminology from the University of Tennessee. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not unfit. I'm very fit. That's the reason why they got rid of me, because of exposing government corruption. So they won't let me be a lawyer in a courtroom for you all, so I'm a lawyer on the street. And please fund the program. And I also have a Doctor of Jurisprudence. And I also have a Bachelor of Science in Business, an associate degree in business. So I know what the hell I'm talking about. And I am fighting, representing you, and I'm going to present stories to you. Breaking stories that bust the government's lie wide open, that expose their corruption. Like, share, and contribute. And hit the icon. Show the love. Also, you can contribute on YouTube. And join the channel if you can. And don't let the social pressure of people, of the bots on here get you to not believe me. That just shows we're stepping on some toes. They're trying to get us to conform, but we're not going to conform to their baloney. We're not conforming. We're going to do what we know is right and not listen to the lies. The government said in My Lai that was a successful mission. They had a high body count. The body count was innocent people. The Tennessee Highway Patrol says they did a successful thing. They got rid of Charles Van Morgan. Getting rid of me, they got a huge body count because it increased the fatality rate. So yesterday morning we showed you a video of, we did a video, a YouTube, where a 18-year-old was killed by a Knox County Sheriff's deputy. So here's the news article. Deputies kill 18-year-old suspect while serving search warrant in South Knoxville. The sheriff's office said multiple deputies were serving a warrant at the 700 block of Sevierville Pike in South Knoxville. Now, that's near where I live, the warrants department. And I told you yesterday, here's what the government says, that it was a good shoot. He pulled the gun on. That's what the government says. Conform to that. Don't question that. The sheriff said that. The district attorney said that. Conform. Hey, let's go on about our way. What if they come in your house next and they say it was a good shoot? And I'm not saying do anything violent. I'm saying vote. Maybe the prosecutor's not doing a good job here. Just stamping, approving, cover up. Maybe, I don't know. I don't trust these people. If somebody lies to me, I know the answer to something, and I ask them a question, they don't know I know the answer, and I know they lie to me. Then just by pure logic, if I ask them another question I don't know the answer to, like I don't know whether they had a right to shoot that person because there's no video, there's no body cam, why is that? That's suspicious in itself. Then I know that these people lie. So why should I believe what they say? I shouldn't. So Joseph Walker, Sergeant Criminal Investigations, Cincinnati Department of Safety and Homeland Security, retired. Knox County Sheriff's Office. Now he works. Retired Sergeant, Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security, criminal investigator, currently employed with the Knox County Sheriff's Department in the Criminal Warrants Division. So, breaking story. Let me break this story like Seymour Hurst. Joe Walker, you say, well, he retired. He's legitimate. He's credible. He retired from the Highway Patrol because he backed up lies from the establishment. He said the My Lai thing, comparably, symbolically, was a win. But he lied about the facts. He said getting rid of Charles Van Morgan for the Highway Patrol was the right thing to do, but he lied about it. He lied. So I know he lied about something. Now he's in the warrants division that was up there shooting a man. We don't know what happened, so do we believe him? I don't. Now this thing about liberty or death, that doesn't necessarily mean my death. I'm just saying, I'm just saying, because they got a lot of people that don't even belong here with the THP. We are proud to announce the promotion of Steve Stacker Pawnee. Look at that. Look at that. Now, I've met Steve. Steve's a dirtbag. He inhibits justice. Raised the fatality rate. He's a thug. He's a creep. He's not an American citizen. He came over here illegally. He helped raise the fatality rate. Look at this. This is me when I was on the road with the Highway Patrol. Fatality rate going down. They fire me in 2011. Fatality rate starts going way back up. And it has increased ever since. Because the cover up. Now look at this. Sergeant Joe Walker, the Warrants Division, I'm talking about not going along, not conforming with what people in the government power tell you. They said My Lai was a good shoot. 300 people dead, a good body count. They say that it was right for them to get rid of me with the Highway Patrol. They did a good thing. It wasn't. It wasn't. People are still getting killed on the Tennessee roadways today. The captain said that, what are the names of the troopers? You have heard say that. This says here, I've never had any experience with that. You said that you heard a lot of talk amongst troopers that they won't trust Mr. Morgan again, right? They won't trust me for not seeing a wreck off the side of the road. What are the names of those troopers that you have heard say that? I would have to go through some at the scene. Joe Walker, Danny Thomas, Stacy, Heather. So Joe Walker said he didn't trust me, helped him get rid of me. So Joe Walker is protecting the establishment. Joe Walker kept his job because he lied and protected the establishment. I'm trustworthy. Joe Walker is not trustworthy. Joe Walker is a liar. I'll show you in black and white. But he's saying I'm not trustworthy. And the My Lai incident was a good kill. Hundreds of people. We got a lot of bodies that they massacred. Get rid of me, it's caused the fatality rate to skyrocket. Keep him. He's on the warrants department now. They killed somebody up here on Sevierville Pike a few miles from my house. They say it's a good kill. Let's see what Joe Walker said in a police report. Now here's what Joe Walker said. I'm just telling you, don't go along with the program. Don't conform to stuff that's obviously a dirty lie. Joe Walker works for the dangerous Knox County Sheriff's Department. The sheriff says that he's a good man. The sheriff says that he's credible. The sheriff says good shooting, My Lai. I'm symbolically. Now let's look what Joe Walker said in a police report. They did police reports. Joe Walker works for the warrants department. The sheriff says that Joe Walker is a great sheriff's deputy, qualified to protect Knoxvillians and Knox Countyans. The warrants department was up on Sevierville Pike. They killed somebody. The warrants department says they acted in self-defense. Okay, by logic, has anybody in the warrants department lied before? If they have, and we know the truth, then if they tell us what happened up there and there's no body camera, by logic, if they've lied before, how do we trust them? We can't trust them. So let's look at Joe Walker in the Knox County Warrants Department. And I was on the scene up there the other day. Happened this year, a murder, maybe by the Sheriff's Department. So Joe Walker retired from the THP because he lied for them. You keep your job if you uphold the establishment. They hire him at the Sheriff's Department because they know he'll uphold the establishment. The Warrants Department says it was a good shoot up there. Let's see if they've lied in the past so we know if they're telling the truth. Because if we know they've lied in the past, then we can't trust anything they say. So let's look at what Joe Walker said. Joe Walker, Exhibit 25002. This is a police report. Sergeant Joe Walker, interview of 911 caller and Trooper Van Morgan, report narrator, second paragraph. Miss Darling stated she heard a loud crash, looked out her bedroom window and saw a vehicle had hit a tree. Miss Darling called 911 while she was watching the vehicle burst into flames. So here's what he said. Miss Darling states she heard a loud crash, looked out her bedroom window and saw a vehicle hit a tree. So she looked out her bedroom window and saw a car hit a tree. That's what he wrote in his crash report. In his incident report. He's saying that a lady heard the crash and she looked out her window and seen a car hit a tree. Put that together. Looked out her window and seen a car. Because the whole case is about the car being visible. So they are trying to light it up and say, she looked out her window and she saw it. Easy to see. I drove past it because it wasn't easy to see. I didn't see it. I seen the tail end of it. I didn't see the whole car. I didn't see anything that appeared like a wreck. I was looking for something down the road. Another witness on the scene didn't see it either. That substantiates what I say. So they change what she says. They say she looked out her window and seen it. I said I drove by and didn't see it. So they say, well, she's seen it. You should have seen it. What if she looked out her window and she didn't see it either? That would substantiate what I'm saying. So what if the guy up there didn't pull a gun, but they said he's seen a gun because they want you to think that they had a reason to kill him. They want you to think they had a reason to get rid of me. So they said she looked out her window and seen it. Trooper Morgan drove by and he must have seen it. But what if they lied? That's what he wrote in his police report. That's an official police report. The document number's on there. Let's see what the witness actually said. There's the document, 2502. Here's what she said. Now here's the official transcript of the 911 caller. She said here 6 different times. I'll show you right here side by side in that. But here's the narrative of her statement. Okay. All I saw, I don't know. Can't figure it out. It wasn't burning, but I saw somebody. And I thought maybe fire. Because it wasn't burning before that. That's one. Okay, it wasn't burning. Okay. So you heard a loud bang. That's really primarily what I heard. I just heard some people, about 3 people, and I wasn't on the phone. I wasn't on the phone with Royal Metro very long. They said that there was a policeman on the site, and I had just real loud noises like police cars in the area. They don't have their sirens on real loud, so I don't know. I heard a loud sounding crash. I don't know whether it would have woke me up, so she's already awake or not, because my bedroom is right there next to Andersonville Pike. So her bedroom's right by Andersonville Pike. That's really the only thing. That works, okay. Just heard a loud crash. You looked out your window. Did you see a car when you originally looked out? No, I didn't. I couldn't. So, Miss Darling states she heard a loud crash, looked out her bedroom window, and saw a vehicle hit a tree. Did you see a car? No. So that's 2 different things, isn't it? I didn't see the car until I wrote Royal Metro people that I said, oh, it's on fire. Okay, so it caught on fire after that. Were you looking continually out the window to see if you could see it, and then all of a sudden you saw it? Yes, all of a sudden it burst into flames. So she didn't see it until it caught on fire. We'll read the whole narrative. Interview 911 caller. This is Sergeant Joe Walker, Tennessee Highway Patrol Criminal Investigation Division. Saturday, the 26th of November, 3:30, talking with Miss Shirley Darling about a crash in Knox County at Andersonville Pike near Hill Road. Shirley, you understand why I'm taping the conversation? Darling, yes. Walker, how did you come to find out about the crash? Darling, I heard a loud noise. I thought a car maybe came down Hill Road and ran into one of the brick columns out here. And of course, I looked out my bedroom window and that I couldn't see anything. It was dark, and then I saw color. It must have something like a van or something like that. Darling, I don't know. Can't figure it out. It wasn't burning, but I saw somebody and thought, well, maybe the fire. Because it wasn't burning before that. Walker, so you just heard a loud bang. Darling, that's probably what I heard. Walker, okay. Okay. So she just heard a loud bang. That works, just a loud crash. You looked out your window. Did you see the car when you looked out? No. In his report, looked out our window, bedroom window, and saw a vehicle hit a tree. So he lied in his police report. She didn't look out her window and see a car hit a tree. She looked out her window and couldn't see anything. So that's a lie. He's on the warrants department. The warrants department says that the man pulled a gun on him. And we know that members of the warrants department lie in police reports. So here's the narrative on this. Here's my narrative. Crash not visible to eyewitness at the scene. Sergeant Joe Walker misrepresents in the report that Miss Shirley Darling saw the crash when she looked out her bedroom window. She says she did not see it originally and called 911 because of what she heard, not saw. His report indicates she looked out her window and saw a crash that is not in accord with the testimony. She looked out her window and could not see the crash until sometime later it suddenly caught on fire. A small detail that's important and others are left out of this incident in an effort by the Department of Safety to wrongfully incriminate Mr. Morgan, falsely allege a very destructive accusation to Mr. Morgan, his family, and their future that intentionally saw the crash and chose to ignore it. The car under the circumstances was not visible in the dark until it later caught on fire after Mr. Morgan had passed it. So that's the lie that a warrants officer that now works for the Knox County Sheriff's Department, the warrants department shot somebody on Sevierville Pike and says the guy pulled a gun. The same warrants department that has a officer that wrote a false report that says a lady saw something immediately when she didn't see it. You know, that's pretty incriminating to say that they lied to her oath. And she said it 6 times that she didn't see the car until it later caught on fire, which was after I had already passed it. So let's see here. So that is conformity. Go along with them. Believe what they say. They're the government. They're telling you the truth. So you know, I wouldn't. And here's the social pressure. I don't think you have any moral high ground, and she's putting that in there about how I saw a car and drove past it. When that is a government lie. Yeah, I do have moral high ground. I got a lot of moral high ground. I protected lives and property. Your social pressure that she put on Facebook and the obscene, absurd comments on here are not going to deter me from telling the truth and continue to tell the truth. Social pressure to conform. Don't run for public office, get criticized by people who condone school shootings. Now, she's a member of a group that condones school shootings, I believe. So, social pressure. Don't go along with a program. Don't be deceived. And here's a lady that approved of the shooting up there. A government official, hey, I'm legit. We're the government. It was a good shoot. And a lot of good shoots. All of them good shoots. Did they ever prosecute anybody? Randy Nichols caused more Tennesseans to get killed on the roads. Vote him out. Allen out of DA's office. There's the DA that approved of that shooting with a warrants officer that lies, and they say that I'm not credible. No. They're not credible. The My Lai incident was not a victory. The getting rid of me was not a victory. It was a massacre of the public on Tennessee highways. This pastor here in Texas, Lester Roloff, made a huge difference in standing up to public power and got a governor in Texas voted out of office. So we're standing on the promises of God. We're not going along with public pressure. Like, share, comment, and contribute if you can. Keep journalism alive. And also, miracles happen. Miracles happen when we pray. Miracles happen when we pray. Must be people well aware of my show because they're trying to interrupt me. They don't like me out here on the public sidewalk. And also, take it to the Lord in prayer. And we do. We pray about things. God is on our side. And also, no matter what happens, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. So God knows. God knows. We keep praying about things. The My Lai incident was covered up for 20 months. The incident involving me it's been covered up for 13 years. A lot of wrongs going on further than that. And when you hit my icon to contribute, you'll see no God, no peace. And that's how you know you're on the right page. And they hold the grudge. They won't give me my law license. A grudge is too heavy a load for anyone to carry it. They share carrying it. But let's talk about, in closing, some spiritual stuff, because I'm a Christian. I'm trying to be a better one every day. and talk about, in closing, and this, we're not closing right now, talk about Jerry Falwell. He wrote a book, 1982, a very good man. It was called Finding Inner Peace and Strength. And let's talk about, you shouldn't be conforming to social pressure. You can find inner peace and strength despite social pressure. So this is some notes I took years ago. A little spiritual message that helps people fight injustices. It was every morning when you awake, present yourself anew unto God. Thank God for all the good things that happened to you yesterday, but look back and realize the situations in which you were not productive, the things you said that you should not have said, and the things you did that you should not. So every morning when you get up, thank God for all the good things He's done, and look back and present yourself new to God that day. That's what I try to do. And then look back and think about things that you shouldn't have done or said that you did. And then pray, Lord, I'm presenting my body to you all over again this morning. My mind, my abilities, my talents, my capacity, I give myself to you. Through prayer, we can obtain the mind of God in a particular matter, and then follow the leadership of the Holy Spirit to accomplish the particular task at hand. It's easy to, we can avoid social pressure, I think, by praying to God, presenting ourselves anew every day, thinking about the things that we did yesterday we shouldn't have done, and starting over the day, and don't repeat the same mistakes. And through prayer and God's holy word, we can know the mind of God, and social pressure will have less influence if we obey the Ten Commandments, and we won't be influenced by outside liars, and we won't be influenced by circumstances. God's got us, and we need to put God first, and not let anything be above God. So let's go over the rest of this stuff. We'll recap what we covered today. So in April 2004, McDonald's, Mount Washington, Kentucky, occurred 70 restaurants, 32 states obeyed Thomas Summers. So don't conform. That's the McDonald's restaurant where a police detective alleged that he was a police detective called on the phone, and the McDonald's restaurant manager obeyed the police detective and had a lady go undress and he made these hoax phone calls to 70 restaurants. So don't conform to stuff that you shouldn't do. And the 1984 incident where the lady wouldn't get down on her knees to get executed, it caused them to not be able to shoot her in the back of the head and kill her. And we have 700,000 people listen to us in the past few days. Like, subscribe, and comment, and contribute, and such, help us continue the news. We'll expose the government corruption and break the stories like Seymour Hersh and influence behavior of people. Let them expose the corruption, and let's not conform to the corruption of people in government power. So we'll be on tomorrow morning again, and we're going to be broadcasting live again tomorrow morning. Thank y'all for watching the show, and please contribute. So far, the contributions, and I'm doing this out of love for my fellow man, but so far the contributions have been so low, we're monetized, that I could about make more money by looking for change on the street. So, I mean, if you like the show, show the love. Give $1, at least show that there's people on here that love and care and that are concerned about their community and are willing to stand up and not conform. So send $1 through the square icon, or hit the chat thing on here, and or join the channel, because as it stands, I can find more money by looking for change on the street. So, and I don't want it to come to that, and it's not going to. But so show you care. Hit the Cash App or the square icon, and we'll be back on here tomorrow morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. Lord willing, the creek don't rise. Let's turn this around, and we'll read some of the comments, and put Trump in your life. I don't think so. So Trump ain't going to save anybody. Why, you a liar? I'm not a liar. How stupid are you? Yeah, look at the social pressure on here. Are you stupid? Yeah. Says, was a state trooper in Tennessee initiated a truck stop that ended in a fiery crash. The body cam footage, dash cam footage are available. Yeah, watch them. That's my evidence. You're trying to rig it to say what you want, to say my Lai was a victory, and you're a liar, and a lie is a lie, no matter how many times you repeat it. And you must think I'm stepping on some toes if you're on here. If you're on here lying on me. So I must be putting out some truth. If you think it's important to cover up, to say that people in government power did the right thing, then go ahead with your baloney. I could care less. I'm not influenced by your social pressure. And that's the message I want to convey on here. Don't conform to the social pressure. And don't listen to them. I mean, you can listen, but make up your own mind about things. So we'll be back on here tomorrow morning. God bless you all, and contribute, share, like, comment, and hope you enjoyed the show. I enjoy putting it out, and help us top over 1 million people in the next few days. And we will be back on here tomorrow. Hopefully, Lord willing, the creek don't rise. And if you got any questions, put them on here, and I'll try to answer your question. Just want everyone to get the whole story, Charles, not just from your mouth and the piece of paper in your pocket. Okay, boy. Woo, all social pressure, I'm telling you. And any problem giving a man some hope, I have hope. Answer Democrats, Republicans, I don't agree with either one. I can almost tell when they don't use real dinosaurs in movies. Get a life before yours and tomorrow. Amen. And put Trump in your life. Why would I thank God for things he had nothing to do with? Nobody cares, bro. Yeah, they do. This guy has a problem. Why are you a liar? I'm not. Let's talk about liar. Man, somebody on here. Myra Kidda, God knows you are you stupid? Yeah, look at the social pressure on here. Wow. I'm going to get off it because of social pressure. That's one of the ways you avoid social pressure. You know what's going on. Just woke up talking. Okay. Wow. Remember when you kneeled on, yeah, listen to all these people. Man, all these haters in here. All these haters in here. John 3:16, James Version. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but those who follow. Okay, I like the King James Version. What country is this? United States of America. Excuse me, I'm sorry. You got, wow, you got fired. Are you a murderer? No, I'm not. I'm a lifesaver. Scrap more duplicate papers, so that's the only thing I can do. Yeah, so did you like Charlie Kirk? I did. I didn't agree with all his positions. Fortnite Kid 999 said, oh, hello, just got home from work. Fortnite Kid, yeah. Mary, get him, Charles. Okay, I am getting him. What's going on, Republic Stop Motions? What's up? Okay. You sound hilarious, hillbilly. And yeah. Ooh, man, the insults. You sound hillbilly. For God's sake, okay. Let's see if we can read some of this. Some of these make no sense. 38-year-old black man. The end is nigh, and only Jesus saves. The world is passing away for enmity. Well, I agree with that. Second vote. Better than you could see. Start a change and talk about it with your face on screen. Okay, I don't understand some of this stuff. So thank y'all for joining me. Sorry for your loss. 20-year-old didn't say. Okay, yeah. But yeah, don't let the social pressure bother you from all these people. You know, freedom of speech, say whatever you want and listen to them, and you can make up your own mind. So thank y'all. We will be back on here tomorrow, maybe. Lord willing, the creek don't rise and somebody in government power don't try to assassinate me. And they may, I don't know. It's dangerous what I do. So like, share, comment, contribute, and we're going to go to the house and talk to you tomorrow. So last thing I always say is God loves you, and I do too.